Hey everybody, I am back. I am so sorry I haven't been uploading the past 3 months. I've been really busy with work and everything, and also I was in a reading slump in June, so I didn't read much, and I'm just so sorry I haven't been uploading, but I promise I will be better at it now. So I'm going to show you guys all the books I read in April, May, and June. I'm not gonna do a July wrap up yet because obviously the month isn't over yet. So I'll do it next month. Hey everybody, I am back. I am so sorry I haven't been uploading the past 3 months. I've been really busy with work and everything, and also I was in a reading slump in June, so I didn't read much. And I'm just so sorry I haven't been uploading, but I promise I will be better at it now. So I'm going to show you guys all the books I read in April, May, and June. I'm not going to do a July wrap up yet because obviously the month isn't over yet. So I'll do it next month. Okay. So anyway, before I show you guys all the books I read the past couple months, I just want you guys to know that if you follow my blog, you'll know I post reviews for all these books on my blog. I still like filming video reviews, but I also like writing reviews for these books because it's so much easier, honestly. And I have more time to just sit down and write reviews, and it's always busy at my house, so I don't have a lot of opportunities to film. But so yeah, let's get started. So first, I'm going to show you guys the first book I read in April, which was The Fill-In Boyfriend by Kasie West. If you guys are subscribed to me, you'll know I did a review for this a couple months ago, and I absolutely loved this book. It was so cute. It was just so amazing. And you guys know contemporary is one of my favorite genres, but recently I haven't been reading too much contemporary lately because, well, I don't know, I've been loving fantasy more, and I don't know, contemporary books are just, I don't know, they're sort of getting old to me. I still love them. It's just, I don't really see much originality in contemporary books anymore. They're all the same now, in my opinion. I still enjoy them though, but this one was amazing. I highly recommend this one. This is my first Kasie West book. If you guys don't know what this book is about, it's about a girl named Gia, and this the book takes place the book takes place when she's at her prom at school, and her boyfriend ends up dumping her in the parking lot. And so Gigi always told her friends that she had this amazing boyfriend, and her friends never saw him, so they never actually believed she had a boyfriend. So she ends up asking this guy in the parking lot, his name's Hayden, she ends up asking him to be her fake boyfriend for the night, and he says yes, and then it goes from there. And this book was just so good. It was such a cute romance. I loved the slow burn romance. I loved Gigi. She was an amazing main character. And I loved Hayden. He was such a good guy. And overall, I just loved their relationship. It was so cute. I just loved them together. And yeah, I obviously gave this book 5 out of 5 lily pads. It was so, so good. If you guys want to know more about what I thought about The Fill-In Boyfriend, just check out my review on my channel because it explains more there. So the next book I read was Yellow Brick War by Danielle Paige. This is the third book in the Dorothy Must Die series, and this book did not disappoint me. I gave this book 5 out of 5 lily pads. I know this series has a lot of mixed reviews and a lot of hate, but I honestly really enjoy this series. I love the first book. I also love the second book, and this one was so good too. I think this book is actually my favorite out of the 3 so far. There is a 4th book coming out next year, and I can't wait for the last book to come out. And this one's very short. But yeah, I love this one. It's not disappointing me. It was a great story. I don't want to say anything else about it because I don't want to spoil you guys. And so yeah, just know I love this book, and I gave it 5 out of 5 lily pads. It was a great sequel. And the next book I read was City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare. This is the 5th book in the Mortal Instruments series. Yes, this is my first time reading this book. I have been putting it off for so long, and I don't know why. Maybe because I didn't love City of Fallen Angels, but this one was amazing, you guys. I don't know why this book was so amazing. I don't know if her writing got even better. I don't know, but I absolutely loved this book. It was so, so good. The pacing was awesome. I was never bored. I still love the characters, especially I love Clare and Jace. And so, yeah, this book was just amazing. Like I said, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, this book was amazing, and I obviously gave it 5 out of 5 lily pads. I still have to read City of Halloween Fire, and that book is going to take me, like a long time to read. But I hope I'll get to that one soon, because I want to finally finish The Mortal Instruments and Infernal Devices so I can read Lady Midnight. Okay. So the next book I read, this was actually a request from my sister because she loved this book. And the book is The Book of Ivy by Amy Engel. Yeah, Amy Engel? I don't know how to pronounce her name, sorry. I really enjoyed this book. Like I said, my sister loved this book, so she wanted me to read it. This book is a dystopian novel about arranged marriages. And I don't want to say too much because it's better to go into these books not know much about them. I have to say, I am not really a fan of dystopian books. A couple years ago when I first started watching BookTube, I loved dystopian books, but now I don't really like them anymore because I realized they're not for me. I'm more of a fantasy person. I love fantasy. I just don't like dystopian books because I don't really like world building. If there's a little bit of world building, it doesn't bother me. But I don't know. I don't like when a book focuses completely on the world building because world building just bores me. I'm more of a character kind of person. I like when books focus more on the main characters and then the character development's really good. But I have to say this was a really good dystopian novel. I really like the plot of this book. I love books about arranged marriages. I love the main character, Ivy. She was a great main character. She was very unique and different from other YA characters I've read about. I really liked Bishop. I almost forgot his name. I really liked Bishop. He was such a great guy. I liked that even though he was in an awkward situation with Ivy, he didn't force her to do anything. I just really, really liked him because he offered to do. I mean, basically, he's not the typical guy, which is why I loved him. He offered to help Ivy around the house. He cooked and he cleaned and he wanted to learn how to do laundry. And so I just love Bishop because he is such a unique guy, and I want a guy like Bishop in my life. And so, but overall, I really love this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 lily pads, and hopefully, I'll read the sequel someday. And I remember this book used to be really hyped up on BookTube, but I think the hype died down because I don't see many people talk about this book anymore. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. It was a great dystopian, and I gave it 5 out of 5 lily pads. If you guys are looking for a dystopian novel with really good characters, I would highly recommend The Book of Ivy. So the next book I read was The One by Kiera Cass. This is the 3rd book in the Selection series. I really enjoyed this series. This series is actually this is my sister's favorite series, and she made me want to continue the series even more because I read the first 2 books years ago and I enjoyed them, but she made me want to finish the series even more because she loves it so much. And this book did not disappoint me. I loved this book, even though I was spoiled for the whole series by my sister, but that's okay. But this book was absolutely amazing, guys. I love it because it's a lot like The Bachelor, and The Bachelor is just such an amazing thing. And this book was just so entertaining to read. I loved it. I loved all the characters. I loved all the girls. I love America. I love Maxon. So that's all I can really say about this without spoiling it. But so yeah, just know I absolutely loved this book, and I gave it 5 out of 5 lily pads. The next book I read was for the PLL read-along. I will put the link to the Goodreads group below. We are almost done. I think this is our last month of reading the series. And so I read the 13th book, which is Crushed by Shepard, the 13th book in the PLL series. Obviously, I love this book. It didn't disappoint me. I don't think I disliked any book in the series. They're all amazing. And so yeah, I love this book, and I gave it 5 out of 5 lily pads. So after reading the 1, I had to continue and read the Heir, which is the spin-off series based on Edwin. And this book was, oh my gosh, this book was so good. I love the Selection series, but I think this one was even better. I loved it so much. I loved the plot. I loved how it was all the guys competing instead of the girls. I loved I loved Edelyn's character. She was an amazing character. I know a lot of people hate Edelyn, which is fine, but I personally loved her. I loved how tough she was. I didn't think she was a spoiled brat at all. And you know what? Even if she acts like a spoiled brat, it's because she grew up in a castle her whole life. She didn't grow up like America. Like, America had nothing. And so that's why Edelyn's the way she is. But I just loved her character. She was so tough and unique. And she was like, I don't need a guy to be happy. I don't need to get married. I'm too young. And that's exactly how I feel in life. Because I don't need a guy to live my life. I don't need a guy to be happy. And I just thought she was so unique for that. Because, I mean, how many girls are like that in books? Where they don't need a guy to be happy. So overall, I loved Edelyn's character. I loved this book. I loved all the guys. And I obviously gave this 5 out of 5 lily pads. This is probably like one of my favorite books of the year so far. I loved it so much, you guys. And so after that, I had to read The Crown, which is the last book. And I actually really liked this book. I actually got spoiled before reading this book, but you know what? It's my fault I got spoiled, and it didn't take away the enjoyment I had with this book. As you guys know, this book is very short, but I thought it was a great ending. It was a great conclusion to the series, although I wish she wrote one more book. I feel like there should have been another book, but overall I still love this book. I like the guy she chose, but he wasn't my favorite. Like, I wasn't really rooting for her to pick him, but he was a nice guy overall. I liked him, so I guess I'm happy she chose him. It doesn't really matter in the end. So yeah, I love this book. It was a great conclusion, and I gave it 5 out of 5 lily pads. The next book I read is a book I've been wanting to read for a long time, but unfortunately I didn't love it, so I had to DNF it, and that book is Breathe by Abbi Glines. Now, I've been wanting to read her books for a long time, and I've been wanting to read this book for a long time too. This is the first book in the Seabreeze series. It's basically about a girl named Sadie, and her mom's pregnant and doesn't work, so and it's Sadie's summer vacation, and she's in high school, and so she's forced to take her mom's job as a maid at like this rich person's house, and so she ends up getting the job there and takes over for her mom. And so she meets the son that lives there. His name is Jax, and he's a rock star. And so yeah, that's the main plot of this book. So I have to say, in the beginning, I was really loving this book. But then, a huge case of insta-love took over, and I hate insta-love so much. It's like one of my, biggest book pet peeves. I cannot stand insta-love, and I have to say, I've read a lot of books with insta-love, and I think this book was like the worst case of insta-love. Now, I don't really want to explain why this book had insta-love in it, because I really don't want to spoil anything, but if you guys have read this book, I'm sure you will understand why I hated the insta-love in this book. It was just so bad. Like, Sadie was there for like 2 days, and her and Jax formed this connection, and they were all like thinking like, oh, they were all thinking I love you, and Jax said to Sadie, he said like, you're my heir, and I was like, what? They only knew each other for like 2 days. The worst case of insta-love I've ever read, and because of that, I had to put down this book. I could not finish it, and also, I spoiled myself by reading reviews, and like, so I found out at the end, the biggest YA trope I hate was at the end. And so, I just couldn't do it, you guys. I couldn't do it. I had to put this book down. I couldn't finish it, and I was so mad because, like, I've been wanting to read this book for a long time, and I figured since it's contemporary, I would not hate it because I am not picky with contemporary books at all. I love most of the ones I read, and so, yeah, I just couldn't do it, and I'm so sad because I was so looking forward to reading this book. I didn't really give that book a rating since I didn't like it, but I probably would have given it, like, a 3 or 4 lily pads. I just couldn't do it. I'm sorry. Okay, but then the next book I read was amazing, and it's a book by one of my favorite authors, and that book is Steele and Parker by Miranda Kenneally. She's one of my favorite authors of all time. I've read Catching Jordan by her, and I loved it. It's one of my favorite books, and it's one of my favorite contemporaries. You guys need to go read Catching Jordan. It is just so amazing. And so, I own all of her books now. She's my new auto-buy author. And so I really wanted to read Steele and Parker because this is the second book in the 100 Oaks series. Catching Jordan's the first book. And this book did not disappoint me, you guys. I loved this book so much. Now, what I noticed about her books is she is so good at developing characters. Her characters are so likable. I love them so much. Like, I love the main character, Jordan, in Catching Jordan. I loved Parker in this book, and this book is basically about a girl named Parker. She is a Christian. She used to have the perfect life. She was a valedictorian. She was on the softball team, and then things happened and things changed. I'm not going to say the big plot point as to why her life changed, because I don't want to spoil you guys. But basically her life changed, and she's different now, and she sort of changed as a person. And she quit softball and stuff like that. And I don't want to say too much because I don't know, I don't want to spoil you guys. But I love this book so much. I wouldn't say it was better than Catching Jordan because I'll just admit it. Nothing's gonna be Catching Jordan. Like nothing. But I knew that going into this book. But this book was so amazing too. I loved the main character Parker. I found her very relatable. I loved all the guys in this book. Like in this book, she has a lot of guy friends, just like in Catching Jordan. And what's so cool is Jordan and Henry are in this book at some parts, and I loved seeing them because I missed them after reading Catching Jordan. And absolutely love this book. I love Parker. I loved the love interest. His name was Corn Dog, or they call him Corn Dog. I think it's so funny. I loved him too. I was like, oh my gosh, I was rooting for them. I shipped them, and yeah, this book was just so amazing, you guys. I don't have to say anything else. It's Miranda Kenneally. Her books are just amazing. If you guys, like, she's such an underrated author. If you guys haven't read a book by her and you love contemporary, you need to read her books. They are so amazing. And so obviously I gave this book 5 out of 5 lily pads. Okay. So now we're gonna move on to the other books that I read in May. Yeah, I read this book. I think I read this book in May. And the next book I read was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Now, you guys probably don't know, but I did not really like the Throne of Glass series. I liked book 1 and book 2, but book 3, Heir, Fire, I couldn't. I just didn't like that book. That book took me 8 months to read. It was so slow and boring. And I was like, you know what? After I finished that book, I was like, I'm done with this series. I'm not continuing. I have my reasons for not liking Heir, Fire. And so yeah, and because there's certain reasons why I'm not going to continue the series. But however, I really wanted to read A Court of Thorns and Roses because I heard it was a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and I love fairy tale retellings, and I love fairies. And I really love this one. This one didn't disappoint me. This book is just really good. I'm not going to explain what it's about because you guys know what this book is about. It's hyped up all over BookTube. This book was amazing. I thought it was so much better than the Throne of Glass series. I loved Feyre. I loved Tamlin. I liked Rhys a little bit. Overall, I love this book. The pacing was perfect. A lot of people said the pacing was slow and boring, but I didn't think it was slow at all. Maybe because I like slow-paced books. But yeah, this book was awesome. I gave 5 out of 5 lily pads. I'm actually currently reading A Court of Mist and Fury, and I am loving it so far, you guys. I think I actually like it better than ACOTAR so far, and I've heard amazing things about it, so I can't wait to keep reading it. It's so good. And so the next book I read was Frostbite by Richelle and Mead. This is book 2 in the Vampire Academy series. Oh, guys, okay. You guys are probably gonna hate me, but I do not like the Vampire Academy series. I read book 1, I think, was it last year? I read book 1, and I just didn't care for it. I didn't love it. I was like, okay, I'll read Frostbite to see if I like it better, because maybe I'll actually like the series. And so I read Frostbite, and it was just okay. I sort of had the same opinion as this book as I had with Vampire Academy, which, you know, book 1. This book started out really well, but I don't know what happened. I got bored with this book, And maybe, I guess I just don't like this series. Maybe it's just not for me. I don't know what to do. I was planning on reading Shadow Kiss because I heard the series gets better after that book, but I don't think I could do it, you guys. I don't really like I don't love the characters. I don't like the world. I find the world very confusing for some reason. I don't know why. Like, I just didn't care for this book either. But I was generous. I gave this book 4 out of 5 lily pads. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna continue this series. I know so many people on BookTube will love it, but I just don't think it's for me. And so I'm sorry for not liking the Vampire Academy series. But oh well, I need to move on and read something else. Okay, so after that, I read the 14th parallel book, which is Deadly, and obviously, I love this book. Don't have to say anything else. Gave it 5 out of 5 lily pads. This was an amazing book. This whole series is just amazing. The next book I read was another book my sister loved. Unfortunately, I didn't feel the same way, and that is How to Love by Katie Cotugno. I've been wanting to read this book for a while because I love books about teen pregnancy, but it wasn't necessarily a bad book. I actually did not finish it. I DNF'd it. It wasn't bad. I'm not going to say it was a terrible book or anything. But the reason why I put it down was just because I didn't like the characters. It follows our main character, Rena. Basically, she got pregnant with her boyfriend, Sawyer, like 3 years ago. And then now the book takes place with her as a mom. As a single mom with her daughter, Hannah. I don't know. This book wasn't bad. Like I said, I just didn't like the characters. I liked Rena at first, but I don't know. After a while, I ended up not really liking her anymore, and I didn't really like Sawyer either. I know most people didn't like him anyway, but still, I didn't like Sawyer either. I just really did not like their relationship at all. Like, I wasn't even rooting for her and Sawyer to get together at all. I did not like them together. I didn't think they had chemistry. I didn't think they were right for each other. The romance sort of felt insta-love to me. I don't know. I just didn't like either of them, which is why I couldn't finish this book. I just didn't like their relationship at all. Okay. Okay, guys, so that was my very long, overdue wrap-up video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting me and sticking with me after these past 3 months. So yeah, have a great day, guys. Happy reading, and I will see you guys with another video soon, so stay tuned. Bye!